That they are definitely a changed team. They haven't beaten San Rafael since 1969. That's got to put, I guess, some kind of pressure.
I think so, Dennis. There's a lot of validity to that. I'll tell you, the Drake offense really likes to put guys in motion, and we're going to probably see Drake throw the ball about 70% of the time tonight. Craig Burnett was an all-Northern California quarterback. He was rated second in the state. Last year, he threw 192 completions and 360 attempts for 2,400 yards and 20 touchdowns last year.
Quite a man, Craig Burnett. On the San Rafael side, you got to look for the defense to try to stop him. This is a San Rafael team that has really changed a bit. It looks like defense is their strong point this year. And we should have an interesting matchup, power against power, tonight.
I guess the fact sometimes is on the positive side because it is the Bulldogs' homecoming, and that's got to have some kind of advantage.
Certainly has, Dennis. It's a pretty good crowd out here tonight, and more students are coming in. It's got to have an effect on the team, and certainly San Rafael has more in the area of manpower. They have more players on their team. Drake is a very small school, only 1,000 students right now, and less than 30 players on the football team tonight.
Nonetheless, they do have 3 returning offensive linemen, and all running backs are also returning, and the receivers are returning. They got a lot of veterans out there. Definitely another advantage yet for the Pirates.
Certainly do, Dennis. They have 8 returners on offense and 9 on defense. So that's really a veteran club, and really the first club to have a winning season for Drake in a long, long time.
Well, maybe right now we can get a look at the offense for the Drake Pirates. The quarterback, as we mentioned, is Craig Burnett. But the wide receiver, Jerry Ziff, at 6'3", 180 pounds. He is a senior wearing number 88 tonight. Tight end number 87 will be Glenn Richardson. Richardson, a senior at 5'10", 180. And before we continue on, let's hear the playing of our national anthem. The 1983 Bulldog Marching Band. Let's continue with the offensive lineup for the Drake Pirates. Left tackle, number 72 is John Sanford, 6'2", 200-pound sophomore. One of a couple of sophomores in the lineup for Drake. At the left guard, number 53, Eric Horn at 5'10", 170 pounds. He is a junior. Doing the snapping tonight is Charlie Slack, number 50, 5'9", 205-pound junior. At right guard, number 72, Dan Bowman, 6'1", 210 pounds, another senior. At right tackle, number 73, Britt Johnson, 5'11", 185 pounds, senior. And the other wide receiver over there is Eric Hoff, number 19, 6'1", 185 pound junior. Get a look at the quarterback, Craig Burnett, number 14. Running backs, Roy DiMartini could be in the ball game tonight. We understand he's suffering from an injury. That is a wait-and-see situation. Small guy, though, sophomore at 5'6", 184 pounds. And Kip Hawkins. That's right. It's spelled as it might be Jacques, but it's Kip Hawkins, 5'11", 175-pound senior.
And Dennis, we did find out just a few moments ago that Roy DeMartini will not be able to play in tonight's ball game.
Okay, so he is scratched from the lineup. Bob Akins will be kicking off for San Rafael. The deep man, lone deep man, number 34, Hawkes. Hawkes will take the ball about his 10-yard line. Goes up the middle and is hit by a few players. Looks like he was down by number 64, maybe Dave Pell on the tackle. And it'll be first down and 10. Ball at the 31-yard.
And here's the man himself, preparing to test his latest theory for the nation before he gets on the plane to Washington. His challenge, to apply the rules that made him millions to the problems our country now faces with energy. Farnsworth says that when it comes to fuel, a penny saved is a penny earned. So these days, he hikes, bikes, or rides his moped to make America energy independent. If he preferred, Farnsworth could come up with a whole raft of highfalutin ways to reduce our dependence on foreign fuels. But he believes that simple alternatives are the answer. And before he makes pronouncements, he believes he ought to see for himself that it works. And obviously, it does. What's good for Farnsworth is good for the nation. So follow his lead, hike, bike, or ride a moped to help save energy.
You know, guys, that happened so quickly we never got a chance to look at the Bulldog defense. It looked like they might be in for a long night.
So, if nothing else, that will tell you San Rafael likes to grind it out and move the ball on the ground.
Yeah, the Bulldogs have a couple of deep men back there. One of those is Todd Whitman. Doing kicking off for Drake is Marshall, who had missed the extra point. Very short kick taken by Tua Tagovailoa, and he's got some running room across almost up the midfield. Just short to about the 48-yard line. So the big man, 6'4", 218 pounds, very short kickoff, and certainly that's going to hamper the Pirates if that continues all night long.
Certainly was. I think he got his foot too far under the ball on the kick there, and a lot of times when you do that, the ball will go up high, and you never get a real good contact foot to the ball there.
Darren Kafuri is the quarterback. Mark Meinheimer and Todd Whitman are the backs, and it goes to number 34. He gets across the 50. That is Mark Valley. And remember, Valley, of course, from baseball player.
Baseball, yeah.
Heck of a pitcher out there. Remember, as we saw some of the playoffs games.
Alex Johnson is in the backfield with Valet. San Rafael has about 4 running backs, and they like to utilize all 4 of them quite frequently.
Call it a gain of 3 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 7 yards to go. There you see the T formation back there. There he is again. Gets up to about the 45-yard line. Down to about the 45, I should say. The Pirates, as he struggles close to a 1st down, call it 3rd down and a long 3.
Valet took on Dan Petit head on there on the outside. Both are linebackers. Valet plays linebacker when San Rafael does not have the ball. So it was a pretty good collision out there.
That was Garrick Black, one of the linebackers, in on the defensive tackle.
I formation now. Valet will get the 1st down as it gets down to the 40 to about the 39-yard line. So immediately they go with the rushing plays, and we saw a couple different offensive formations there. We saw the T, we saw the I, and they going for the 1st down. Coming into the ball game is Meinheier. He did not start the game as we thought that he would. He was penciled as a starter, but he will come into the backfield now for the Bulldogs. On 1st down and 10, they mark it at the 40.
And you can see right now the importance of that bad kick to start off San Rafael's possession. They're in good shape right now and almost in field goal range.
In the T again. And this is Valley. Gets across the 40 to 35 to 30, and finally dragged out of bounds at about the 25-yard line.
Dennis Drake is lined up with a 3-man front, nose guard, and 2 defensive ends and 4 linebackers. And it appears that early on in the game, those linebackers are going to have to be a bit more active and contain a little bit better if they're going to stop the San Rafael running game.
Outside linebacker Dan Pettit finally got in there to make the stop. The 5'11", 165-pound senior. He got back past him. He might have been gone. Once again, 3 backs. Valley again, and this time he meets a host of big guys on the line there.
Well, San Rafael is dressing it up quite a bit, but it's the same old thing over and over again. Mark Valet's got the ball every time, every down.
Brian Robles is credited with making the stop. Well, looks like we might have an offensive ball game here tonight, gentlemen. It's already 6-0. Drake on the very first play of the ball game, 70-yard touchdown pass. Yard, maybe 2 on the play. That was number 27. That was Todd Whitman, 166.59, tackled by Chris Snyder.
On that defensive line for Drake, Chris Snyder is the nose guard. He's 5'10", 170. And the left end is Miguel Lopez, 5'7", 180. And on the right, Brian Robles, 6 feet, 210 pounds.
3rd down, about 9 yards to go. So a passing situation. Back to pass. Looking, Kafuri goes into the end zone, overthrows his intended receiver. Brian Davis, intended receiver, 175-pound, 6-foot senior, but it's incomplete. And it'll be 4th down and a field goal situation. Don't think so. A little bit too far for a high school kicker. Let's see.
Davis actually had Dave Marshall beat by a couple of steps on that play too, but unfortunately the pass was overthrown.
Bob Akins, number 89, is the place kicker, but they are going to go for it. Furry looking, and a short pass incomplete, intended out of the backfield for Meinheier. And it was a spot pass. He was not to his destination before he looked up. The ball had already hit the ground. So Drake will take over, 1st down and 10. Get a look at the crowd here. They have piled in a little bit. A lot of cheerleaders here. This is homecoming for the Bulldogs. And it got off to somewhat dreary beginning as Craig Burnett hit wide receiver Jerry Zick for a 70-yard touchdown pass. That's where we stand right now. Burnett brings his troops up to the line on 1st down and 10. Wide receiver, that's Ziff in motion, and ball carrier goes up the middle, gets a couple of yards. He's hit there by number 54, Jim Fox. And it looked like Hawkins was the carrier, got a couple of yards.
I'll tell you, Dennis, San Rafael is also going to have to watch out for Glenn Richardson, number 87, the Drake tight end. And the other wide receiver is Eric Hoff, who, as a sophomore last year, was a starting wide receiver and had a very fine season. So Drake has quite a few offensive weapons they can look to.
Second down and 7 yards to go. And that's going to pass, looking for his favorite receiver, and he dropped the ball. No, I'm sorry, that was not him, as I believe it was. It was number 17. And you guys have him on your roster? I don't.
He's not on there.
I don't.
We got a stringer on the field. Of course, we mentioned earlier that Drake does not have an awful lot of players here. And I got to wonder, Bruce, what do you think the quality of these players are? There's not an awful lot of them. Does Dan Licati have any choice? And right now, when he gets a kid who wants to try out for a team, can he say, no, you're not just quite good enough, you're not big enough to play football, or are they taking anybody?
Well, I don't know for sure, Ted, but to answer your question, I think that they're at a point where they cannot afford to make any cuts just because of the injury factor that's involved. And not only that, this is high school football, and the kids should be allowed to play.
Burnett pump fakes, and he will be hit and thrown for a loss. Tua Tagovailoa will bring up the 4th down situation, punting situation for the Pirates, so their second offensive possession does not work out quite successfully as the first one did, and they will punt the ball away.
I'm sure you remember Tua Tagovailoa from high school basketball when we were bringing you the MCAL Game of the Week. He's a center for the Bulldogs for Brett Tavani's team.
Ted, how could anybody forget that name, huh? How many times did I screw that up?
Quite a few. That one's almost blocked.
There goes the punt. It is fumbled, and Lou's going to
Drake's got it.
Drake will recover the football.
Number 47 for Drake, that's Eric Thompson.
Once again, it looked like it was fumbled by, well, Garrett Black dropped the ball. No, I'm sorry, it wasn't Black. It was Vin Smith who took the punt.
It wasn't a real good kick. And there's 68 is that Smith, and bounced right off of his leg. And he never really could find the handle. Of course, Thompson was right there.
So let's see if Burnett can take advantage on 1st down and 10 yards to go at the 45-yard line. Backs in the I formation. It looks like somebody jumped on the line. The handoff goes up the middle.
Looks like there was some confusion in the backfield there. It didn't quite look like a fake, but Burnett had to hesitate a bit before handing the ball off. And it didn't look like a delay either.
Cervera is the ball carrier, and he got maybe a couple of yards. 2nd down and about 7, well, call it a long 7, almost 8 yards to go. We are really cramped up here. This could be a long game. Hand off to Hawkins. He lost the ball, and I think he pounced on it. It looked a simple case of running before you got the football, Ted.
That's right. He was looking at guys coming towards him and figuring out how he was going to make a move, and forgot to grab onto the ball.
So that'll bring up a 3rd down situation. They lose 2 yards. It'll be 3rd and 9.
Now, for all the talk about Craig Burnett, for him being second in the state in yardage and touchdowns, for him being all Northern California, he had a very bad game last week, threw 6 interceptions. Tonight he's completed but 1 pass, but it was a doozy.
They fill the zone on the left side, and the pass is incomplete. And it'll be 4th down. So Burnett looking for his favorite receiver, Jerry Ziff. Ziff was not open that time. They tried to flood the zone. It didn't work. And the Bulldogs will get a chance to get some points on the board. Drake leads 6-0.
5:15 left in the first quarter.
Deep back for San Rafael on this punt will be number 81 for San Rafael.
I don't know who that is.
Yes, he's another roster change. And he's going to get the ball.
We'll call him.
Nope, they're going to let it go. And out of bounds. Looks like about the 10-yard line, that ball went out.
Well, actually, we'll probably mark it at about the 4-yard line, but in any case, the Bulldogs will take over 1st down and 10 yards to go. And Kafuri is going to have his work cut out for him because the Drake defense has responded to the chances so far. Take a look at that defense if we can. Again, Mark Lopez. They install the 3-4. Lopez, big defensive end. Nose guard is Chris Snyder. Brian Noble. the other end. And the ball goes up the middle. A lot of running room for the big guy again, Vallet. And he might have even got the first down up there.
San Rafael does use an awful lot of backs. You saw them at the start of the game using Mark Valet an awful lot. Now they've shifted over to Valles. So it's not a question of what they're going to do. You know they're going to run. It's a question of who's going to do it.
He picked up 8 yards. And the ball carrier goes up the middle. That's Valet. Valet, I should say, and he gets a couple of yards.
At this point, the San Rafael offensive linemen are just doing a good job of pushing back the 3 defensive linemen for Drake, and they're also doing a good job on those linebackers. San Rafael's had good success moving that ball on the ground.
Well, San Rafael's a lot bigger than Drake on the lines. San Rafael has not Tua Tagovailoa, that's 6'4", Jim Fox at 6'2", Greg Kreider 6 foot, and Jeff Lopez 6'4".
First down and 10. There's Valet again, and he will come close to another first down, close to the 29-yard line.
Mark's doing a good job of running hard and breaking a lot of tackles. Reminds us a little bit of the Napa back Hendrickson last week, who was one of those tough types of runners.
Kip Hawkins getting in on the stop. Hawkins sees an awful lot of action. Of course, the running back for the... Also, the strong safety on the defense for Drake.
Number 21 is in for San Rafael, wide receiver Tom Drummer. He's a senior, 6 feet, 170 pounds.
In the T formation now. On second down. Back to pass. Kafuri looks over the middle, and the pass will be picked off. And coming all the way, trying to get off to the right side. Pass is intercepted by Eric Thompson.
That's the second turnover of the game that Eric Thompson has been involved in, and the interesting thing is that the wide receiver actually had him beat on the play, and it was fortunate that the ball was underthrown and Thompson was able to pick it off.
Thompson, 5'11", 150-pound junior, so he's not a very big guy, 150 pounds. Back there in the free safety position for the Pirates. And here comes Craig Burnett and company. They lead the ball game 6-0, scored a touchdown, but missed the extra point.
You know, Dennis, I'm sorry, we talk so often about turnovers in a ball game, and already San Rafael has committed 2 very costly turnovers.
Not to mention a big mistake on that long pass. Mark Krieger was, of course, beaten very badly by Ziff.
Burnett's pass, he looks, and he goes over to Ziff, and he makes the catch, but he is hit immediately there by Mark Krieger. Krieger is 6'3" and 185, so he's a pretty big kid.
It's a good matchup, Krieger on Ziff. As we mentioned, Drake does like to use their players in motion quite a bit. Here you see Ziff moving across the screen as Burnett drops back. And it's a short down and out. Krieger was there with a good tackle.
Second down, 6 yards to go. His pickup of 4 yards on the square out. Now Burnett rolls right, goes over to that side. Pass is complete out of the backfield, and it'll be a first down for Hawkins.
Now, we mentioned earlier that Kip is a fantastic receiver out of the backfield, and Coach Licati and offensive coach Ron Price really like to utilize him that way. Here you get a shot of the San Rafael Bulldogs on the sideline. It's number 53 for San Rafael is Dan Ott. We talked to Dan before the ball game, and he said that San Rafael High had a great week of practice. They were really pumped up for tonight's ball game. Going up against Drake, they have a 1-0 record. They'd like to stay on top of the MCAL standings.
First down and 10 at the 25-yard line. Burnett's going to put it up in the air again. He goes over the middle, pass is tipped, and then incomplete, almost a diving catch by somebody else for Drake. Pass was intended for number 88, Jerry Zitt. I'll tell you who almost came up and caught that ball. I would, but he's not on the roster.
That's the mysterious number 17.
Whoever he is, he's a pretty good player. He almost caught that one.
Show mystery. Second down and 10 yards to go.
You know, it's interesting, Dennis. We talked to Dan Licati before the game about the offensive formation. I'll tell you a little bit about that after this play. As you see Burnett going up under center.
Looking out, and the ball is incomplete. We might get pass interference on that one. That was Krieger on the coverage.
Burnett now 3 of 7 for the game, and as I said, Bruce and I were talking to Dan Licati. I asked him, I said, Dan, what kind of formation are you going to use? Are you going to have a wishbone? Are you going to have a pro set? Are you going to run an eye? He answered yes to everything. He said, we're going to do everything. We're going to have a lot of motion in the backfield. I asked him if there was any special one guy that would be coming in. to receive the ball out of the backfield. He said everybody can catch on this team.
That is Bob Smith you see warming up, backup quarterback for the Bulldogs, so we may see a change in signal callers here in the early going. Drake leads 6-0. This is the third down situation. Burnett is going to put it in the air, and he throws out. Ball is caught and dropped by John Mystery.
Dennis, looking at the Drake High School depth chart, I believe number 17 is Kevin Smith.
Now, how'd you figure that out?
Well, I have the depth chart in my case, and I looked at it, and Kevin's listed behind Eric Hoff, so we'll have to go with that for now and hope that we're right.
Kevin Smith?
Smith sounds like a pretty ambiguous name to me, so I'll agree with that. If it was John Smith, it might be a bit better.
Jeff Mazzette is checking in now to the Drake offense. Jeff is a running back. He's 5'9", 180 pounds. He's a senior.
In any case, he picked up 5 yards on the play. We have a timeout now, it looks like, on the field. Referee's timeout. Something has gone wrong there. 5 yards to go on 4th down. Get a look at the sideline. Now the cheerleaders.
There they are, one of your favorite activities at the game, I'm sure, Dennis, huh?
All right, Ted, you got that.
A lot of cheerleaders here at San Rafael. I guess because it's homecoming, they have every squad, freshman, JV, varsity, the Song Girls. They're all here.
You know what I've never been able to figure out is why they have to buy a new uniform every year. Year for year.
Yes,
well, I tell you, this brings back memories of when I was 14 years old and I was selling shoes at Kinney's in Northgate, and the San Rafael cheerleaders came in and they all wanted to be outfitted in the same thing. I never had a greater day in my entire life.
I would think so.
I bet you still have dreams about that.
Okay, we got a 4th down and 5 situation, and I really look for Drake to go towards their tight end, Glenn Richardson, with a short over-the-middle slant.
He's looking for Hawkins out of the backfield. Hawkins has the 1st down, and he has a touchdown. So Hawkins came out of the backfield on the screen, took it at about the 15-yard line. We get a flag down on the play, and it is illegal procedure, and the ball will come back. Beautifully executed play, and Hawkins had it, went all the way in, but it will go for naught.
Well, we mentioned that Dan Licati was going to have a lot of motion on his team, and that kind of motion may have confused somebody, because let's see if we can pick up the player who moved. It might have been number 74. He looked like he pulled up a little early there. There you see Hawkins breaking one tackle and another. He can really high step. He does all right for himself.
That's John Safner, the tackle. Looked like that he moved a little bit early on the play.
Safner now is just a sophomore, so he can make those kind of mistakes. 6'2", 200 pounds, so he's going to be a big one.
It could have been Safner, or it could have been Kevin Smith, because on the outside, it might have been the wide receiver out there. Sometimes they can't hear the cadence as well as some of the interior linemen. So we'll try it again.
4th down, 10 yards to go. Burnett looking for Ziff. In trouble now. He will be hit by Tua Tagovailoa, jump on 4th and 10, and here come the Bulldogs. Check that. Krieger will get the sack on that. So Krieger, the senior, 180 pounds, 6'1".
You know, Dennis,
ends the Drake threat, and here comes the Bulldog.
We haven't really had an opportunity to see how well Craig Burnett can scramble. He was under some pressure there, but in Dan Licati's offensive scheme, they like to have him drop straight back. He doesn't really roll out too much.
I believe we do have a new quarterback.
That is a new quarterback, but the handoff goes to the same man, Belay, and he gets across the 45 to about the 47-yard line. We saw him warming up. That's Bob Smith. And he has just come into the ball game. So far things work out very well.
Bob's a senior at San Rafael High. He has seen some a limited amount of playing action this year. He's 6 feet tall, 160 pounds.
We'll try to find out. I wonder if there was an injury, if Kifuri was injured on the last series of downs. So they go with 4 backs in the out. That's power T formation. That's handed off. And getting all the way across the 40, he may go all the way down to about the 27-yard line. Todd Whitman.
I think there was a legal procedure on that play, Dennis. I saw 2 flags fall in the air, and I'm pretty sure it is. There you see our friendly zebra saying, come on back, boys.
Bring it back.
Yeah, well, just as Drake had a touchdown call back, this is a long gain. Got all the way down to about the 27-yard line, did Whitman. But once again, it's going to come back. Tough call for the Bulldogs as we have 41 seconds left to go in the first quarter. Drake leads 6-0.
And Dennis, in answer to your question, Kafuri is standing on the sidelines close to one of the offensive coaches, and there does not seem to be any problem. I just think the head coach Muster wanted to see a change early.
Sometimes a coach will see something in the defense and put in a quarterback who's a better thrower, a quarterback who maybe can throw the long ball a little better. That could be the reason for the change, although you see Smith, he really gets down over the center. Look at him, he's crouching there.
Handoff is up the middle, and that looked like Whitman again. If it is, he gets to about the 46-yard line. Yeah, it was, before he was finally hit there by, it's like number 66. See who that was. Garrett
look at Bob Smith
making the stop. Bob Smith knows he's got an opportunity here as Valet checks into the ball game.
Whitman checking out there, Dennis.
Two good running backs. Valet more of a power runner, and Whitman with a bit more speed really break it open.
Well, they will not get to play off. That's the end of the first quarter. So the Pirates come up on the upper hand simply because of the first play of the game, a 70-yard touchdown pass. We finished one quarter of play with the score. The Drake Pirates 6 and the Bulldogs nothing. We'll be right back.
You're watching local television for the North Bay, TV 30, Viacom Cablevision.
Second down and 8 yards to go, the beginning of the second quarter. Out of the backfield, Valet trying to get to midfield, won't. He gets to about the 47-yard line. Hit out there by number 73, Britt Johnson.
Well, Valet did an awful lot of running on that play, but didn't go very far. He was just strung out all the way to the far sideline.
Well, you know, it's important for these Drake linebackers to play a very active part in this game. And there you saw Johnson, who's actually an inside linebacker, going outside to catch Valet. But Garrick Black, Johnson, Richardson, and Pettit all have to play a strong game in those linebacking positions.
Once again, they do use the 3-4. So far, it has worked. Smith with his first pass attempt of the day, and it is incomplete. Intended out there for number 37, Mark Meinheier. And that'll bring up third down and a long 7 yards to go.
Once again, Dennis, we can't emphasize too much how well these two teams stack up for the run when San Rafael has the ball. San Rafael's offense averages over 6 feet, over 180 pounds, over 190, you might even say. And Drake's defense, the defensive line, they've got one guy who barely makes 6 foot even.
Well, obviously, it is fourth down. Hawkins is back deep to receive for Drake, and that is a beautiful punt. Valet uncorked on that ball. It's all the way down to the goal line. He lost the ball, and did they get it?
The question is, did he touch it?
That was Meinheier got all the way down there, and they're giving Drake the football at about the 1 yard line.
It's a good thing Hawkins recovered that ball, Dennis, because it did touch him. It did make contact, and it could have been a San Rafael possession down there on Drake's 1 or 2 yard line.
Well, still a big break for the Bulldogs, and the Pirates got a long way to go.
Yeah, we didn't really get a chance to touch on it in the pregame show. We're going to take another look at it, but San Rafael's special teams is rated very high. Here you see Hawkins going back, way back. There's the ball, and he finally came up with it.
And we kind of missed Hawkins there, but he did go back and did not really believe that the punt can go that far.
We might mention also San Rafael has a very good kicking game, too, in terms of place kicking.
Burnett on a keeper, just trying to get them a little bit of breathing room, gets about 2 yards.
The question now is, can Craig Burnett set the MCAL record for longest touchdown pass?
Second down, 7 yards to go. Wow, he threw a nice one earlier, 70 yards. But
And that one could have gone any further, too.
Hey, see, Licati, boy, he is a young guy, isn't he? Bruce, you know him well?
Yes, I do. Dan and I go back a few years, and actually we both had an opportunity to play under my father.
Well, I'm sure that everybody is just thrilled to know that. It's like the same thing, and he might have got a yard at best that time. Tua Tagovailoa looks like he's on the bottom of the pile, and I don't think he likes it, making the stop.
Dan Licati, of course, the manager of the Fairfax Health Club. Matter of fact, if you look over at him, he's in pretty good shape, and I'm sure he would tell you that if you want to be in shape too, you can go and visit him. This commercial message has not been paid for, we'll mention.
Third down, call it 6 yards to go. Passing situation for Burnett. Of course, he is deep in his own part of the field. Let's see what he decides to do here. And he's going to try to pass it. Quick out, and it'll be caught and out of bounds. That is Kevin Smith. And not enough for the first down, I do not believe.
Drake, of course, has the Raider emblem on their helmets, except for it says Pirates on the top. And I wonder, Bruce, you can tell me, do they manufacture those labels for themselves, or is that a matter of ordering them and getting them just like the Raiders?
I think, Ted, it's just a matter of ordering them and getting them just like the Raiders.
Fourth down punting situation.
Even Ted Griggs can have one.
That'd be great. I'd like one.
There goes the punt, calling for it. Now taking it is Krieger. He tries to get, now cuts back, goes to the other side of the field, and he's got a little bit of running room. Finally, and he fumbled the football. Let's see who got it.
San Rafael ball.
Bulldogs get it back, a little bit of running room, but Krieger just ran into too many Drake Pirates out there.
Special team play really coming through for San Rafael in this game. They haven't got on the scoreboard yet, but on almost every exchange of punts, they've gained an awful lot of yards.
Bulldogs looking for their first score of the day. They trail at 6-0. We have 9 minutes left to go in the first half at San Rafael High School.
Penalty declined by the Bulldogs.
You know, Dennis, I'm a little surprised, too, for San Rafael's homecoming. I think we maybe anticipated a little larger crowd than we actually have on hand tonight.
Boy, we had a big crowd last week, didn't we? Smith hands off now, and that is Hawkins. He gets about 5 yards before he's finally hit there by a host of linebackers. Garrett Black and Britt Johnson in on the stop.
That was actually 35, Alex Jackson for San Rafael on the carry.
Well, they've used...
There we get a look at the San Rafael crowd. And Dennis, we just saw a shot of the cheerleaders, and I wonder if your thinking is along my lines. We'll talk about it in a second here.
That is Hawkins trying to get to the outside, gets a lot of running room all the way down to about the 3-yard line.
Play on the carry.
And it'll be a first down. So Hawkins just finding some room out there.
Hawkins, I believe, plays for Drake, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Mark Valet on the
Mark
carry.
Valet. Excuse me, gentlemen.
Let's take a look at that again. There's Valet. A straight pitch out, a bit of an option for the quarterback. A nice move by Valet there, and he just outruns 2 players there for Drake. Finally wrestled out of bounds by number 30.
So it'll be first down and goal to go. There you see a T formation. And it is Valet again. This time he will not be as lucky. Hit by a host of guys up there. Miguel Lopez, Chris Snyder, and Brian Dorrells are the 3 guys on the line there.
You know, Dennis and Ted, you might remember Mark Valet from those baseball championships we televised on TV 30 not too long ago when San Rafael lost to Novato in the championship game.
All right, we just got to look at the cheerleaders. I wanted to ask you, they don't even watch the action. I mean, what are they cheering about? They're not even watching the game.
Pass goes up the middle once again, hit by a whole group of guys, so no gain on the play, might even lost a yard.
Well, this is a situation here where San Rafael's lack of throwing the ball might come to hurt him. Drake knows that they're going to basically run the ball up the pipe here, and they're stacking that middle and doing a good job on the last 2 plays.
So it'll bring up third down and about 4, maybe even 5 yards to go. Looks like they lost about 2 yards on the play.
Very crucial play for San Rafael right here.
And not a keeper. Smith, will he get it? I don't think so.
No, he stopped short. That's number 66. That's Garrick Black for Drake High School in on the tackle. And it actually looked like a messed up option play, Dennis.
It certainly did. He really looked confused there. I don't think anyone on the San Rafael team had a good idea of what was going on that play.
So let's see what they do now on 4th down, about 3 yards to go. And don't they know the situation?
This is a
We'll look at it
replay
again real quick if we can. He just doesn't get it on the option.
A lot of hesitation on the part of Smith there.
Now he rolls right. Smith looking in the end zone. He's going to throw it, and it is incomplete. Dropped out there. Good coverage by Drake. Smith obviously a little bit dejected.
Number 21, Tom Drummer, was actually a good play. He just couldn't quite hang on to it. It was a good effort.
A good defensive effort for Drake there. They had 2 players in the vicinity and sort of confused Drummer there.
So the Pirates will take over 1st and 10, ball on their 3-yard line.
This is where they took over before. It's a bad situation for an offense like Drake's, where you have a lot of motion, where you have a quarterback that likes to throw the ball, and you really can't take the chance of having him back up into the end zone. Using one of your analogies going to the pro game, Dennis, the same thing happened to the New Orleans Saints when they played Dallas, and Kenny Stabler was sacked for a safety.
Well, maybe that's what they remember, because on the last time that they had the ball, last series of offensive plays, they used it on 2 keepers. This time it's a handoff out of the backfield. And maybe a couple of yards on the play. Be 2nd down and 8.
Running the interference there was Glenn Richardson, and
really having a tough time. Other end of the field here.
Checking in for the Drake offense is number 30, Chuck Silveria. He's a running back. He's a junior, 5'10", 160 pounds.
Well, he gained 2 yards on the play, so it'll be 2nd down and 8. Backs in the eye. And the handoff goes up the middle and getting a couple of yards.
Severia, I believe. Number 30.
See where he got a couple of yards. It'll be 3rd down and 5 yards to go. Now checking into the ball game is Jeff Mazzette.
Of course, the bad thing about the kind of offense that Dan Lucotti operates, and we just recently talked about it, is that you don't necessarily have the freedom to do all the things you want to do in certain areas of the field, and right now is a prime example.
And now they're going to get a delay of game penalty, so that is a major mistake on 3rd and 5. Instead, it'll be 3rd down and 10 yards to go, and they're going to have to change the play.
Okay, Drake's going to call for a timeout here, Dennis. We're down to the 4-minute and 33-second mark. And the coach for San Rafael High School is going to take an opportunity here to go out and check with his players. I believe this is the defensive coach.
Now you got a shot of where we were there, and boy, you're talking about packed inside a little room here. It is not easy.
Let's take a look at the San Rafael defense. We've got 4 defensive linemen, and San Rafael likes to utilize 4 linebackers. Actually, what they do is take Mark Valet, who is actually a cornerback, and they bring him up into the linebacker position. Mark has the opportunity to either move up to the line of scrimmage or drop back, depending on what kind of a formation Drake uses and whether they go in motion.
Okay, it'll be 3rd down and 10 yards to go now. Obvious passing situation for Burnett. And he drops straight back. And now he's sacked and thrown for a loss. And it's a safety. Is it in the end zone? Looks like Tua Tagovailoa made the play.
Just as we talked about earlier, Dennis, position on the field, you don't have an awful lot of room to operate. It's not a good passing situation when you run long routes the way that Drake does.
Let's give John Bauer some credit on this play, too, because John did a fine job of putting quite a bit of pressure on Burnett and was in on that sack.
Yeah, Bauer was right there. 197 pounds, and every one of those pounds were there on that play. So finally, the Bulldogs score, but it's the defense that does it, and they're on. They are trailing now 6-2, almost like a baseball game.
Almost like tonight's White Sox-Baltimore game. Last we heard it was 6-1.
And actually, that was tonight. That was last Friday.
Of course, this is a delayed broadcast.
We have 4:29 left to go in the first half. The Pirates have a 6-2 lead, and if it wasn't for that first play of the ball game, you might say this Bulldog defense has been very, very stingy.
Once again, we're going to have to watch this because the specialty teams have not matched up well at all tonight. Drake's kicking game has really failed them, and San Rafael has got a good return on every boot.
Craig Burnett, the quarterback for Drake, is with the option on the safety, is going to be punting the ball.
Whitman is one of the deep men, and ball will be taken there by number 81, and he will get up the middle and all the way down to the across the 50 to about the 43-yard line. That is one of the guys that we don't know who it is.
Once again, though, Dennis, a 30-yard return. San Rafael is just eating up the yards on the kicks here. Something, of course, that Dan LeConte is going to have to work on. Now let's look if San Rafael is going to go to their same offense that they've stayed with for most of the night, if they're going to try to run the ball, or now taking advantage of some of their momentum, go for the quick strike.
Well, the Bulldogs have decided to call timeout with 4:11 left to go in the first half, and we will be back right after this.
At home with a warm fire, nothing cozier. And there's nothing as dangerous as fire in the home. It is the #1 killer in the home among children under 14. Children should be dressed for bed only in sleepwear that is labeled to indicate flame resistance and is washed according to label directions. These garments will help to prevent serious injury from small flames. Nevertheless, children should be taught to stay away from matches, combustible materials, and sources of flame. For early detection of fires, install smoke alarms near sleeping areas. Escape ladders should be placed in bedrooms with high drops. Practice evacuation plans. There's no time for chaos when fire strikes. If you take the time and effort to protect your family, then everyone can be safer, asleep or awake.
First down and 10 yards to go. Ball on the 44-yard line of the Pirates. Bulldogs down 6-2. Smith on the pitch back. Getting across now all the way down to the 35-yard line. That's Meinheier. And he gets, well, about 5 yards on the play. It'll be second down and 5.
And Dennis, we found out who the mysterious man for San Rafael is. Number 81 is Spencer Sherman.
Spencer. Oh, yes. Spencer, where have you been hiding?
Been hiding under the uniform of number 81. Very inconspicuous number that we couldn't pick up off our roster.
Second down. On a fake pitch. Now they go out to getting a couple of yards out there. That was Whitman. And he does not get the first down, close to it.
But that time, Smith ran the option very well. He had a good idea of what he was doing. There was no hesitation whatsoever, and the play worked for the most part.
It'll be third down and a long 2.
I think those cornerbacks for Drake High School are going to have to do a little better job of getting to that line of scrimmage a little bit quicker, because San Rafael has really been able to run outside on Drake tonight.
Linebackers, of course, Sean Muzat and Dave Marshall. Crucial down here, 2:54 left to go. And it's given up the middle, and a lot of running room. Number 35, Alex Johnson. He gets the first down. That time went right up the middle on third down. The clock has stopped at 2:47. Now it continues to roll. They've already used one timeout, and now the referees have stopped it again.
Let's take another look at that play. Here's Johnson in the backfield, lone back, and he just plunges his way through, fights off 2 tackles. And finally, it takes 2 men to bring him down. Number 82 in on the tackle there for Drake. Check that. Let's make it 32. Dan Petit.
There he is again, and trying to get to the outside, and he does. That is Valet, and he gets a couple of yards.
Okay, that time the
see
Drake
Smith?
defense did a very fine job of coming up on that play. Number 32 for Drake is Dan Pettit. He did a fine job of knocking Valet out of bounds. You know, when I look out there to the Drake defensive lineman, I see number 70, who's Chris Snyder, and they have him listed at 5'10 and 170, and it looks like Chris is probably about 5'7". He's an awful small nose guard.
Well, looks like we might have a quarterback change, and we do. Kafuri has come back into the ball game. Smith is out. And the handoff goes up the middle to, that's Meinheier, and he gets another couple of yards, and I do not think he got the first down. No, he did not. It'll be third down and a long one.
Dennis, if I'm not mistaken, San Rafael has only thrown the ball, or attempted to throw the ball, 4 times tonight.
Well, they've got a lot of good running backs back there, Ted. Clock is running now, under 2 minutes to go in the first half.
Here's Todd Whitman.
Whitman, and he scrambles around, and the second effort, he gets the first down.
Really poor tackling on the part of the Drake Pirates there. They hit him a few times, but every coach will tell you, once you hit him, you got to wrap your arms around the guy and bring him down. A good shot isn't going to knock a good running back to the turf.
Todd Whitman now is just 5'9", as we'll get a look at it again, and he has to use all of his weight to get the first down here.
Todd does a very nice job of cutting back here and gaining some of that extra yardage after that hit.
Eric Thompson making the stop there. Here's first down and 10, and another few yards.
Well, we're down to 1:28 before we reach halftime, and San Rafael is just going to grind that ball and hopefully get it into the end zone with very little time left on the clock.
We talked about field position relating to the offensive attacks. When Drake was down at this end of the field and with their passing game, they couldn't get the ball out. And now San Rafael is going to have a tough time getting the ball into the end zone with their running game with this much time left.
The pitch out there to Valet, and he might get in, and he does. Touchdown, the Bulldogs.
Certainly no problem there whatsoever.
No way. We saw Alex Johnson on the carry before that, and they got so many running backs that all the linebackers in the 3-4 for Drake, they don't know who to key on. And it's become quite a problem. The Bulldogs have taken the lead for the first time.
Okay, here we're going to take another look at it. Here's the pitch over to Valet. He makes a good move inside, cuts outside, dives into the end zone for a touchdown. And here's the extra point conversion attempt.
And that kick is no good. So they've missed 2. That was Bob Akins doing the kicking.
Let's see if we can take another look at that replay. Darren Keefery made a great play. He had 2 players hanging on him before he pitched the ball off. We're trying to line that up for you in the truck right now, but it was a superb play by the quarterback on the option, exactly the way you want to do it. You see there's 1 player, almost pulled him down, 2 players hit him at the last moment. He pitched the ball away to Valet, and that really made the key for Valet because there was only 2 players that he had to beat to get in the end zone.
Well, now there's 1:03 left to go, Ted, and what does Drake do here? They've shown already that they can strike very, very quickly. Burnett, of course, with a 70-yard touchdown pass, but that's been it. The Bulldog defense has been very, very stingy after that first play of the ball game.
Well, we're going to have to look at the Drake offense and see where they get the ball. Once again, field position has been a key for both teams tonight. San Rafael has almost always had the ball on the Drake side of the 50-yard line, and Drake has had the ball deep in their own territory with the exception of the 1 long pass.
Kip Hawkins will be the middle deep man, and they are not going to go to him. It'll be a shorter kick, but Hawkins comes up and takes the ball and gets across the 35, struggles to across the 40 to about the 41-yard line.
I'll tell you, Dennis, the key right now for Drake High School is they're just going to have to start knocking some people over. You know, they're relying on Burnett to throw the ball downfield and to go for the long completions, but I really think on the line of scrimmage that San Rafael's dominating them, and they're actually out hitting Drake to this point.
Can Drake start knocking people over? They are not that big anywhere.
50 seconds and the clock is moving now on first down and 10.
Shotgun.
Dropping back into the shotgun now. Now he fills the zone and he fumbles the football. Look out, and down he goes. That is Krieger on the sack. His 3rd. And the clock is still running, under 30 seconds. Now they're going to call a timeout. See it again. He just fumbled the ball, and by that time, no problem.
Once again, even if Burnett did not fumble the ball there, Krieger was in like a bullet. Drake is absolutely stopping nobody
That's
on the offensive line. You know, Burnett really needs about 4 seconds to set up and throw the ball because Drake runs some pretty deep routes, and he's not getting it tonight.
That's number 74, John Sampner, who got beat on the play, and John is just a sophomore. He does have his hands full.
Of course, I'm sure John didn't expect everybody to fumble the ball during the ball game. Of course, Krieger has a brother, number 11. His brother is actually bigger, 6'3", 185 pounds. So now what do? You got 27 seconds left and second down, long way to go. Of course, they're obviously not concerned with the first down as much as they are as a score to this point.
Well, Drake does have enough strength offensively speaking where they do have time to possibly get in 3 or 4 plays. They don't really have to throw the ball all the way downfield, but they could go for a couple of relatively shorter completions to see if they can get themselves in scoring position.
I think that Drake used up 2 of their timeouts earlier in the game when they had some confusion, and that's a really key point right now. Plus, they're not that strong in the kicking game, so they're going to have to get the ball into the end zone.
Zip to the right side, Smith to the near side. Now drops the pass off somebody out of the backfield there. That's Hawkins, gets up near midfield, now out at about the 43-yard line.
And he did not get out of bounds, Dennis. The clock is ticking off. We're down to 12 seconds. And
Drake obviously has no timeouts left, otherwise they would have called a timeout.
They're not going to get this play off. It's down to 3 seconds. 2, 1.
And they got it off.
They got it off.
Throws it out. Passes incomplete. Intended for Zip. That's the end of the first half.
Now the attempt on Burnett's part there, you may wonder why he was throwing a short pass with only 3 seconds left, why he didn't throw the alley-oop. He was trying to get the ball off short and get the ball out of bounds so they might get one more play left and get a chance to talk to their coach, Dan Licati. Obviously that didn't happen. Here's the replay on it. He'll go back, a very quick drop and a quick setup. He has to do that now because San Rafael's going in so fast.
So the Bulldogs, after being down 6-0 on a 70-yard strike by Craig Burnett to Jerry Zip, strike on a safety and then a touchdown of their own. So that score is now 8-6. Both kickers have missed their extra point attempts, but that's where we stand up to this point.
And they're dancing in the streets here on homecoming night, San Rafael High School.
Looks like New Orleans, doesn't it?
It certainly does. I may have to go down there at halftime and do a little jitterbugging of my own.
Well, we'll get a look at some of the halftime festivities and a few comments about the first half when we come back after this.
You're watching local television for the North Bay, TV 30, Viacom Cablevision.
In car number 2, we have escort Steve Gio filling in for Darren Fury, since he's on the field today, and Princess Lisa Dobbins. Darren has been president of his class both sophomore and senior year. He's participated in football for 4 years, basketball for 2 years, and the jazz ensemble for 2 years. Lisa is the AFC treasurer for 12th grade year, was a treasurer for 11th year. She's been a member of CSF for 4 years, of the orchestra for 3 years, and has been participating in Wally UN for 1 year. Let's give them a big hand. In car number 3 is Prince Steve O'Banna and Princess Jeanette Myers. Steve is been ASB Vice President, sophomore class representative, a member of CSF for 4 years, involved in the task of anything goes, and has received the National Merit Science Award in Biology. Jeanette has been Director of Spirit, PTSA Vice President, member of CSF for 4 years, and has received the United States Achievement Award and served on the Southwest Council. We have escort Rich Pong filling in for Dre Krieger and Prince Sarah Brigham. Princess Sarah Brigham. Greg has been the ASB President, Freshman Class President, Director of Public Relations, has participated in football, basketball, and baseball for 4 years, and a member of CSF for 3 years. Sarah has been the senior class representative, been involved in the Quebec Exchange Club for 2 years, a member of CSF for 1 year, involved with song leading this year, and junior class secretary last year. Give a big hand. Car number 5, we have Prince Pete Simone and Princess Cindy Stewart. Pete has been our junior class rep, involved in water polo and swimming for 4 years, received the National Journalism Award in 10th grade, and is a member of CSF. Cindy was the junior class president, member of CSF for 4 years, member of the orchestra for 4 years, and San Rafael High School's delegate to Girls Skate for 1984. Give him a big hand. In the final car, we have Prince Mike and Princess Jenny. Mike has been our senior class representative, a member of CSF for 4 years, soccer for 4 years, was the winner of the San Rafael math competition, and received the National Merit Scholarship Commended Student in 11th grade. Jenny was our junior class treasurer, has been involved in Raw Robin in 11th and 12th grade, being president in 12th grade, has been on varsity Yale in 11th, and is now our San Rafael High School mascot. Give him a big hand. crown the 1983 Homecoming King and Queen, the Honorary Mayor Larry Mulryan. Thank you very much.
All right, going first with the 1983 Homecoming King. The 1983 Homecoming King is Greg Krieger. Give him our best, will you?
What to say? I'm sure Greg is very grateful for the honor you bestowed upon him. On behalf of Greg, thank you.
Thank you. All right, and now the 1983 Homecoming Queen, Jeanette Meyer.
Thank you very much, Mayor Mulryan. And now for your halftime entertainment, the San Rafael High School proudly presents the baton.
back with second half action right after this.
If you or someone in your household is deaf, you may qualify for a free telecommunications device for the deaf, commonly called a TDD or TTY. As part of a statewide program, your local telephone company is now distributing free TDDs to those people presenting proper certification of their deafness or hearing disability. To find out more about this program and how you can get your free TDD, call your local telephone company now.
Well, the Drake Pirates find themselves down by a score of 8-6 as we get ready to begin things here in the third quarter. Looks like they might be off and running for their first victory over the Bulldogs since 1969 when they had a 6-0 lead. However, things changed and we are at 8-6 at this point. Drake will be kicking off to the Bulldogs.
Once again, we talked about specialty teams and the kicking game during the half. Let's see how this one goes off. A poor kick again.
Marshall kicks off. That ball takes a couple bounces before it's finally picked up and bringing the ball out for maybe a couple of yards.
Once again, Dennis, a return of only about 5 yards, but San Rafael takes over at about the 32. Great field position.
Spencer Sherman took the ball back there. He got maybe a couple of yards. That's right, Ted. The ball now on the 32-yard line. The Bulldogs will have it 1st and 10. Let's see, is the quarterback back there, and it is Smith.
Now, in the first half, San Rafael was able to dominate the line play, and if they can do the same, they should be in good shape in this half.
Bob Smith hands up the middle. The ball is taken there by Whitman. He gets a couple of yards.
That was Garrett Black, number 66, in on the tackle for Drake on that play. Well, Drake's going to line up in a very similar defense as they had in the first half with the 4 linebackers, Pettit, Black, Johnson, and Richardson, and they will play a very significant part in the second half of this game.
We'll call it a 4-yard gain. It'll be 2nd down and 6 yards to go. Looks like a broken play. Smith will take it himself. Gets just short of the 40-yard line to about the 39. It'll bring up a 3rd down and 4 situation. Looked like a broken play in the backfield. He was looking to one of his backs and nobody was there, so he decided to keep it. They'll have a quarterback switch right now. Kafuri is coming into the ball game. What is the story with the revolving quarterback?
Interesting theory, Dennis. I'm not, maybe just Coach Muster feels that both men are so equally talented that he wants to alternate the two of them and confuse the Drake defense.
3rd down and 3 yards to go. Kafuri drops back to pass, looking over the middle, in trouble, nothing doing, and he will scramble and get the 1st down just short of the 45.
Well, I can tell you that Smith is a much better option quarterback and not quite the drop back passer that Kafuri appears to be. Smith handled the offense pretty well in his chance in the first half.
Okay, it'll be 1st down and 10. Ball marked at the 44-yard line. Ball is handed off. Looked like Valet, or it could have been Alex Johnson. We'll have to see when they get up from the bottom of the pile. And it was Alex Johnson, but he got nothing. Might have even lost a yard on the play, and he did.
On that play, we saw the Drake defensive line and linebackers actually control the line of scrimmage for one of the few times this evening. They have not sacked the San Rafael Bulldog quarterback yet this evening.
Alex Jackson.
Alex Jackson.
Alex Johnson, of course, played for the California Angels.
Ball thrown over the middle, open there, and going number 87. That's Brian Smith. Puts a move on, and he will be down finally at about the 17-yard line. Boy, what a job he did there. Finally tackled by Eric Thompson. Is the guy who finally brought him down, but not before they get a long, long 1st down.
Brian Davis, a senior, is 6 feet tall, and he had to use every inch to grab onto that ball. Take a look at it again. He almost drops it. Watch it here. And there's the bobble, grabs hold of it, and a great move. Hit by 2 guys and picks up about 6 or 7 more yards.
He burned Dave Marshall, who had the man-to-man coverage down there, and 1st down and 10 now. The handoff up the middle. Valet runs into a stack of guys, but battles his way down for about 5 yards. Finally taken down there by Brian Robles, number 78.
San Rafael has had, they have worked on Dave Marshall, the cornerback for Drake, a couple times this evening, and they have had success going against Marshall. So we may look for that further in this ball game.
We should point out also that on that pass to Davis, Kafuri had plenty of time. The offensive line doing a fine job there.
Todd Whitman and Eric Smith now in the ball game. Smith is split left with a man in motion now. Handoff goes up the middle. Nothing doing for Whitman, I believe. And yes, it was. So call it 2nd down and 10 yards to go. Oh, I'm sorry, 3rd down and maybe about 3 yards to go.
Quite a difference there.
Yeah, I would think so, Dan. Okay, we're getting it together. It's the 3rd quarter. 3rd down and 3. On the option, pitches back. Valet gets to the outside. He'll get the 1st down. And all the way, skips into the goal line. He's got the touchdown.
Fine outside running by Valet there.
Mark did a fine job once he got the pitch on the play. We're going to take another look at it. Here you see now on the option, there's the pitch, and Valet breaks to the right side. He gets around Marshall and skips into the end zone for the touchdown.
Mark Valet, 170 pound, 5'10". He's a senior. And now let's see if they can finally get a kick through. Aiken's kick is up. Did he get it this time? No, he did not.
That was blocked on the line of scrimmage. Looked like number 47, Eric Thompson, might have got a hand on that.
So he's seen it all here, but everything except somebody kicking the ball through the upright.
That's certainly true. Saw Valet on that run into the end zone. He did a fancy skip there and then thought for a second, am I going to spike this ball? Am I going to do a California quake dance? No, sir. He just set it down on the end zone turf and walked away.
Well, I tell you guys, Darren Kafuri comes into the ball game and in about 4 plays led him into the score. Couple passes.
Having a fine night. Almost about 67 yards, according to my calculations.
So now what does Drake do? They've got to get a little bit of passing going here. Only 1 offensive play accounts for that 6 points, and it was the first offensive possession of the ball game for the Pirates on their first play. 70 yards, strike to Jerry Ziff. Other than that, it has been nothing. Now you can either say that the Pirate offense has been absolutely without anything to do out there, but once again you can say that the Bulldog defense has just shut them down.
Well, even more importantly, Dennis, I think it's a matter of time of possession. The Bulldogs have had the ball most of the night. After that first kick, it was Drake holding the ball and then kicking again.
Hawkins takes Aiken's kickoff. He gets across the 35 to about the 37-yard line. And here come the Pirate offense. Craig Burnett, 6'2", 190 pounds, as we mentioned, will try to get his team rolling here.
I think we'll see a different Pirate offense right now than what we saw in the first half. Not so much because of changes on the part of Dan Licati. More so, changes because now Drake has good field position, and that opens things up for Burnett. The key, once again, the offensive line. Can they keep the heat off their strong-arm quarterback?
Also, Dennis, I think it would behoove Drake High School to maybe go to a little bit of a shorter passing game, get some flare passes to the outside, and maybe let the backs take it and see what they can do with the ball.
That's exactly what they're doing.
Burnett's going to pass right away. He threw it into a host of linebackers, intended out there for number 87, Glenn Richardson, and boy, that was a bad pass.
Yes, it certainly was. Dan felt that Craig made some unfortunate passes in last week's game, too, obviously suffering 6 interceptions. On the Drake side, they do have a couple of men in the leaderboard. As far as their receivers go, they've got Jerry Ziff, who came into tonight's game rated number 2 in the MCAL, and Glenn Richardson, who was rated number 6. So they do have a pair of fine receivers that they can go to.
2nd down and 10 yards to go. He's got 3 in the backfield now. Ziff goes out and motion to the left side, and he's looking for him, throws an out, and it's incomplete. On that play, Ziff was supposed to bring his man deep. Kevin Smith was the intended receiver on the square out, but nothing doing. Will be 3rd and 10.
Fine coverage that time by number 37 for San Rafael. That's Mark Meinheier, who's playing one of the linebacker positions.
I think Burnett right now is playing a little shy. You know, he's going back there and he's afraid of the heat, so he's getting ready to the ball a little earlier than he might want to, and that's affecting the accuracy of his passing. This is not typical Craig Burnett right now.
Well, he'll try to get going here on 3rd and 10. Throws over the middle. Pass is intercepted and dropped. Well, he had the ball in his hands and he couldn't hold on.
No,
That
he
was
got it. He hung on to it,
Krieger.
Dennis.
Yes, he
Now
did,
they
Dennis.
call it an interception.
Mark Krieger.
Referee in the backfield ruling it incomplete, but Krieger comes up with the interception
Krieger,
at
of
about the 44.
Krieger, of course, was burned on the first play of the ball game. The pass going from Burnett to Ziff, and now we're going to look at it again. Burnett has some time here, but once again, he threw it a little too early and picked off on a dive by by Krieger, excuse me.
1st and 10. And the handoff all the way. Look out, going, and tell him goodbye out at the 2-yard line. That is Whitman, 166 pounds, 5'9", and he went almost all the way.
Well, Todd Whitman does have excellent speed, and he got to the outside. It was just a quick burst. It was a matter of whether they could get to him. We're going to take another look at it. There you see Todd flying down the right sideline. Number 47 for Drake is Eric Thompson, who made the saving tackle at the 2.
Great blocking by the Bulldog offensive line on that play.
The handoff goes up the middle. And nothing doing, maybe a yard on the play. Well, could you guys tell that was Whitman again? So they figured Whitman got the long yards. Might as well see if he can get a chance to get the touchdown. He doesn't there.
Critical situation for Drake. If San Rafael was to score here, they would take a commanding lead. And the way the Bulldogs have been playing defense, it would be very tough for Drake to get anything going.
2nd down, goal to go from the 3. Up the middle, that is number 37, Meinheier.
We saw a couple of very good hits there on the Drake defense. Number 66 is Garrick Black, the linebacker, and Britt Johnson both put good hits on the running back.
Boy, San Rafael has had the ball for an awful lot of this game. They just grind it out.
Well, like we mentioned earlier, last week they ran the ball 48 times and passed only 9, so they do like to move the ball along the ground.
And, of course, that takes time.
Ferry hands the ball off, nothing doing, stacked up right there at the line of scrimmage. And that will bring up the 4th down situation. Let's see what they decide to do.
Dan Pettit was in on that tackle, and also number 30, Chuck Silverio, in on the tackle to stop it. So Drake has come up with 3 fine defensive plays here, close to their own goal line.
And they finally stop Whitman. I guess, look at Coach Licati there. He's got to be a little disgruntled at what is happening now. It looked like his team had things together in the first quarter. Now they're down by 8 points, 14-6. There they're going to go for it. There's Valet. He's been the big man. Fumbles the football, and the Pirates had it. Now they get it back, and they finally do come down with it. Big number 73, Britt Johnson. Well, they had it earlier, and Johnson finally came up with the ball. You know, the cardinal rule, they say in the NFL, is don't try to pick up the ball and run with it. Everybody did that time for the Pirates. Lucky for Johnson, he held on to the football.
There you see the running back making a move on the outside. That's Valet, and he just coughed it off. It was knocked out by another player's helmet. A mad scramble there, and there's Johnson with the ball. Says, look what I got.
I'll tell you, that was another critical turnover for San Rafael. It really keeps Drake in the ball game. If Burnett can compose himself here and get the Drake offense moving, it could change the outcome of this game.
And we may have a delay of game penalty. Either that or somebody was in motion.
You know, in all honesty, Drake really seems like they have been a little bit confused out there tonight. And I don't know if it's just the San Rafael coaching staff coming in with so many different sets and being so well prepared for Drake or what the situation is. But they really seem to have a little bit of confusion out there, and they're having a tough time so far.
Certainly, and field position plays a big role in that part. But right now, according to my stats, Drake has only got 1 first down in this entire game. You really can't operate an offense that way, no matter how many deep threats you have in your quarterback and your wide receivers.
First down and 15 yards to go. Ziff in motion. The handoff goes up the middle and a couple yards, not too much.
I'll tell you, the San Rafael team, you must give them credit. They really have dominated the line of scrimmage, both offensively and defensively tonight. And unless Drake can move those boys out of there, they're not going to be able to move the ball. Okay, Burnett's going to bring the squad up to the line of scrimmage.
Ziff in motion now. Bez Burnett goes back to pass. In trouble. Look out. He's got to scramble out of the pocket, and he'll keep it himself. Gets across the 10. And I'm well short of the first down. Tackled by a host of Bulldog linebackers. It'll bring up a third down situation. So Burnett that time looking for Ziff. However, he had no time to stay in the pocket, and finally when he was forced out, Ziff was well covered and he had to keep it.
Okay, Chuck Silvera has checked into the backfield for Drake. Looks like we're going to have a 3rd and about 6 situation here with 3:21 left to go in the third quarter. Drake's behind San Rafael by a score of 14-6.
And back to pass. Burnett looking and drops it off out of bounds. I don't know if they got the first down or not. That was number 19, Eric Hoff.
I think it's going to be very close, Dennis.
So Hoff makes his first reception of the game. We expected to see a little bit more of him, but that is his first catch, and they got they did not get the first down. It'll be 4th and about a foot. So this is it.
Eric has been hurt. He was hurt last week in the game against Cam, and so his comeback has been slowed considerably. We're going to have a measurement right now. There you see the chains, and Drake is short by a substantial amount.
Okay, so guys, here we go on 4th down. This is, for all intensive purposes, could very well be the ball game.
They really do have to
only
punt.
In the third quarter.
I believe they have to punt it. In this portion of the field, you can't go for it. Certainly not in the third quarter.
Down by just 14-6, very much in it. Keep your eyes open for the old fake.
Burnett does it all. He's trying to kick for Drake right now. And he could throw it.
Well, San Rafael's got 3 men deep. They're prepared
and they blocked it. Blocked by number 73, John Bauer. And boy, he's come up with a couple of big plays. 5'11" junior. And boy, he's going to be around for a whole nother year. Watch out, MCAL, as the Bulldogs take over. So, as it turns out, maybe they should have went for it.
Got a replay on that. Let's key on number 73, Myers. Moves in and fooled our cameraman a bit there, but did not fool number 73. He got that one right in the stomach.
Jaffer and company gets set to strike again. They lead 14-6. We're in the third quarter at San Rafael High School. They try a reverse. Somebody got mixed up there. Jaffer looking. Now throws it out and the pass is dropped.
Everyone was confused on the field on that play.
Brian Davis was the intended receiver. Yeah, it looked like a broken play.
It looked like they had an idea for reverse there. Capuri couldn't find the guy to hand it off to, so he figured that he would just look for a receiver. Sometimes in a broken play situation like that, you can make a big play out of it.
I see that happen all the time. Saw Joey Montana do it last weekend.
Joey
Montana. That's the option out to Whitman. Whitman's got some running room. Goodbye, but we got a flag in the backfield.
I think this one's coming back.
And it is illegal use of the hands called, let's see who it's against. It's against the Bulldogs. It's coming back.
That's the second critical penalty that San Rafael has suffered on drives that led to the end zone.
And you saw that Whitman had a huge hole there, and now you know why.
Whitman is another junior, and he's going to be around for a while. He's got great acceleration.
Certainly saw it there on that play. But now the Bulldogs are watching Uden. They are walking back, and that penalty really hurts because not only does it take the points off the board, but now they're 15 yards back.
You know, right there at the bottom portion of your screen, you see a number 34. That's Mark Valet. And I wonder if he's got his helmet off. I wonder if he isn't hurt. I haven't seen him too much here in the second half. Back to pass. Now throwing and dropping it off there. Pass is caught. That is big number 81, Sherman.
Spencer
Sherman. All Kafuri does here is loft the ball up and says, okay, Spencer, if you can catch up with it, it's all yours, and that's exactly what he does. Easily outran the defensive back, number 34, Kip Hawkins.
But there's a penalty once again, and they're marching backwards.
Another big play.
Another big penalty.
Coach Muster can't be too thrilled with that,
Certainly can't. Smith coming in the ball games now. And the Bulldogs have got to have, what is the down in yardage now?
It's 3rd and 40.
3rd and 40 yards to go.
Well, 2 15-yard penalties.
Could be 2nd and 40.
You think they might throw the ball?
It is 2nd and 40.
2nd and 40. Sansoi, there it is again. He's got his man, Mark Traeger, down at the 29-yard line. Boy, they're picking all over the DBs for Drake. On the coverage again is Hawkins, joined by Eric Thompson. Those guys are really having a tough time.
And Dennis, that was Bob Smith, the quarterback who usually runs the option, who threw that ball. So a little surprise there.
Here you get a look at a replay, Dennis. I wanted to point out that when a team runs the ball as much as San Rafael does, there's a great catch, and he's hit very hard right underneath the shoulder pads there. When a team runs the ball as much as San Rafael does, when they decide to pass, it really works very effectively. Because Drake has been running against the run, going against the run for the whole game. All the DBs are coming up to stuff the blocks, and they can get beat very easily.
Smith looking to pass again, under pressure there, and he will be dragged down. On the line there, that was number 87, Glenn Richardson, who got a hold of his shirt, and after that he went down, so a big play for Drake. Richardson, a 5'10", 180-pound senior, coming up with a big one there. It'll bring up 4th down.
4th and long, 22 situation for the San Rafael Bulldogs.
Well, we're under a minute left to go now in the 3rd quarter, so if nothing else, they're using a bit of the clock on this seemingly quarter-long drive. 4th down. Smith on the reverse, and the ball is fumbled, and I think he got it back. That was Spencer Sherman who took it on the reverse, and the Pirates will take over.
Drake actually did recover that fumble. That was number 72 for the Pirates in there, who is Dan Bowman. It didn't mean anything. It was 4th down. Drake would have had the ball right there anyway.
Bowman, the right guard, senior for the Pirates. So, once again, Burnett has a chance to get something going. 29 seconds and the clock moving.
It really is imperative for Drake to start moving the football right now. They've been slowed down since the first play of the game, and they really have to get on track.
Burnett looking, dumps it out to Hawkins coming out of the backfield, gets across the 40 to the 43-yard line. Gain of 5 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 5, and that'll do it for the 3rd quarter action here at San Rafael High School. Look at the scoreboard. Shows the San Rafael Bulldogs 14 and the Drake Pirates 6. We'll be back right after this.
We're all entitled to the pursuit of happiness, but happiness is more than good health or love. It's also work. Work gives us a sense of fulfillment, a feeling of belonging and accomplishment, no matter how old we are. Right now, our youth are looking for jobs. They want to be part of the system and make it work. But many employers are hesitant about hiring young adults because they know they don't have experience. The Opportunities Industrialization Centers train disadvantaged and underskilled youth so they too can have a chance in the job market. Our youth want to learn. They are eager, enthusiastic, and willing to work hard. If you as an employer hire a young person, you'll receive maximum performance because that individual really wants to work. Give our youth a break. Give them jobs.
Well, just before we begin the 4th quarter, I think congratulations are in hand, right, Ted?
Certainly so. The homecoming queen for San Rafael High School. We're talking about Jeanette Myers. And our congratulations out to Jeanette and her family. We've got a play going on.
Well, you saw big number 72 in on that play for the Bulldogs. Just coming up with the big plays. That was Wes Sichler, the defensive end. So now it looks like the Drake offense is almost becoming very predictable. That is, they're dropping back to pass. The running game isn't working anymore. And now the Bulldogs is just keying in on it. And
you called that one right, Dennis. Those defensive linemen for San Rafael, Tua Tagovailoa, Bauer, Fox, and Krieger are just teeing off from the word hut.
Burnett's got to be a little bit frustrated right now. Under pressure again. This time he'll keep it, gets a good block, and gets across the 30 to about the 32-yard line.
He's going to be about 5 yards short of that first down.
Krieger making the stop. Watch the good block he gets here right over the middle, guys.
Well, actually, it's a good idea with the way San Rafael is coming back at Burnett. The idea of him dropping back and then tucking the ball under his arm and taking off up the middle is probably just what Drake needs right now to slow down those linemen.
Nonetheless, none of that is by design, and it's certainly not what Dan Lucati or Burnett want to do with this situation.
Well, at a time like this, this is where you want to go to the screen pass and the draw play to slow down that rush. We haven't seen it yet.
And that drops back, passes it out, and the ball is caught there by number 19 all the way down to the 30. That is Eric Hoff, his second reception, to about the 33-yard line. So Hoff has come up with a couple of key catches here. Maybe he's the man they got to go to.
I think they have to, because right now, Dennis, they're double-teaming Jerry Zeif on the other side. They're putting two players on him, and that leaves Hoff open and only one man to beat, and he did it right there. Number 21 getting beat on the play.
That was a crucial play for Drake on a 4th down and 6.
21, of course, Tom Drummer.
On the jaw play, that's Hawkins, and he has some running room. A good tackle made there by Krieger, but not before he gets 5 yards, gets to the 25-yard line. Call it a gain of about 7, maybe even 8. Second down and 2 yards to go.
I'll tell you, Hawkins is not a big guy. They have him listed at 5'11", 175, and I think he's probably smaller than that. But he's really been in the thick of the game this evening, both offensively and defensively.
Good play selection, too, because it looks like the Bulldogs were keyed to the pass on almost every down.
Our good friend Bruce Barbera called that one, and maybe his friend, Dan Licati, can hear him over there on the far sideline.
He's got some kind of connection. The pass, that's Ziff. He's open, but he'll only get a couple of yards to the 20, but it'll be enough for the first down.
And you can see the two players are on Ziff there. Number 11, Mark Krieger, and number 43. Let's see if we can pick up who that player is for San Rafael. That is Craig Brown. So Ziff is having an awful lot of troubles tonight because he's being double-teamed.
So the San Rafael defense has done a fantastic job all night against Drake High School. They were very well prepared for this ball game.
Ball is marked at the 23-yard line. First down and 10 yards to go. Now back to pass. It's Hutchis, and he is knocked and thrown for a loss. Nice tackle by Tua Tagovailoa. So he's been all over the field as well.
He's played a great game, both ways, offensively and defensively.
Apologize for calling Jerry Zeif on that last play.
And about 5 plays before that.
Well, we're down to the 8-minute and 26-second mark here in the fourth quarter. Drake's down by 8 points. They do have a sustained drive going here, however, for the first time in almost 2.5 quarters of play.
3 or 4 backs in motion there. They finally settle down. Second down, 14 yards to go. Burnett's going to pass. He's got a man open. Hutchins out of the backfield, and he's all the way down to the 15-yard line. And I think that's enough for another first down, or pretty close to it.
That was Hawkins out of the backfield there.
So Hawkins has made a couple of key plays coming out of the backfield.
Well, you found what goes around comes around.
They said he was a fantastic receiver, and they like to utilize him out of the backfield. And you saw a fine catch there by Kip on that play.
Severia checking into the ball game. You saw him on your screen. And look at that. Well, very concerned coach right there.
That is putting it mildly. Mr. Muster on that far sideline gets very, very into these games. He takes everything very seriously. We can vouch for that.
Hawkins. Ball is a little bit overthrown. That was an interesting call, gentlemen, because it's third down and maybe about a yard to go, and they decided to go for the pass, go for the big play. But now it's going to bring up fourth down, very crucial situation coming into the ball game. You saw Mazzette, and he looks like the type of guy who can come in there for that 1-yard play, exactly what Licati needs right now.
There you get a look at Dan Licati, one of his assistants. I think that was Rick Francis Cooney.
And off on the keeper, goes up the middle. Let's see if he got it. It'll be pretty close.
It is close, Dennis.
There's no signal. Now they will stop the clock to bring in the chains. Making the stop at the bottom of that pile was Alex Jackson.
That's really going to depend on where the official marks the ball, because there was some pushing backwards after the play was down. And this is a very big play for Drake.
And now you know why they call it a game of inches.
Here comes the chain. This is really big because the 7:32 lets you go in the ball game here. And they got it.
Not by much.
By just a whisker.
That's all it takes.
Silenced crowd except for the cheerleaders, and the only ones speaking at this point. So first down and 10 yards to go. Ball on just inside the 10.
Jeff Mazzette has checked into the Drake backfield now. Jeff is a running back, 5'9" and 180 pounds. He's a senior.
Now, once again, with the passing attack, the field is much shorter for Craig Burnett. He may have a bit of a problem here getting the ball into the end zone. They may try to run the ball.
Looking to pass, looking for Ziff. He got him, and did he get in? No, he's about the 1-yard line.
Fine catch by Ziff on that play, too. Craig did a nice job of throwing that ball up. And Ziff with a fine catch. Krieger had good coverage on the play.
It's good coverage, but there's nothing you can do with a big guy like Ziff. Of course, he is 6'3". He's one guy that the Pirates are going to miss next season. As we mentioned, led the MCAL in passes last season.
Now Chuck Silvera has checked into the backfield for the Drake High Pirates.
Ziff still double teamed on the outside.
Well, they've marked the ball at about the 4, now going up the middle.
And I don't believe he's in. He's going to be short.
Looks like Burnett on the keeper. And once again, a tackle was made by Alex Jackson. So Jackson, the linebacker, is plugging up the hole.
Here comes Ron Price, the offensive coordinator for the Drake High Pirates.
Walking a line just alongside him is Jeff Mazzette.
There couldn't be a more critical time in the ball game than right now for Drake High School. 6 minutes and 13 seconds left to go in the ball game. They're faced with a 3rd and 4 situation, and it is imperative that they get the ball into the end zone.
Gotta wonder about the 2-point play after this touchdown if Drake can convert.
Well, let's see if they can get the ball in the end zone first.
Yes, I'm sure.
San Rafael's been tough on the line of scrimmage, and Drake has not showed a tremendous amount of strength rushing the ball straight ahead.
Bruce, I wanted to ask you, you did your picks for this week. Who did you pick in this game?
I picked Drake High School.
So you're in a bit of hot water right now.
You got it.
Hoping to save your reputation.
I'm not too worried about it. The first week I always let slide by. Week 2, 3, and 4, that's when it really counts. Besides, I got to give you guys something to talk about anyway.
That's right. Certainly talked about the running nun.
Okay, we bring the runners up to the line of scrimmage now on 3rd and about 4. Burnett is going to roll right, has his man, and he dropped it. Hawkins out of the backfield, had the ball right in his hands. It went right through. The coverage out there was by number 52, Kurt Falkenberg, and Falkenberg really didn't do anything. And that brings up a very critical 4th down. Let's look at it again.
Let's look at what could be the key play of the game for Drake High School. There's a pass, and Hawkins just cannot hold on. Not bad coverage, though, by San Rafael there.
Actually, if Burnett could have gotten rid of that ball just a second sooner, he would have had a wide open receiver. He hung onto the ball just a little bit too long.
That's something he's going to dream about tonight if the Pirates can't get the ball over here. 4th down. Biggest down of the night for the Pirates. Burnett throws him to the end zone. Did he get it? Zip! Touchdown! Jerry Ziff on 4th and goal gets in. And suddenly the Pirates are right back in this ball game. So what do? You go to the man you count on most, and he was there. 6'3", 180-pound senior.
Jerry really has played a fine game. There you see him make a diving catch on Burnett's throw. Craig threw it the only place he could, and Jerry made a fine catch.
Mark Krieger has been the big playman on a couple of defensive coverage for the Bulldogs, but that time he got burned.
You got to look for it again. 2-point conversion.
And that one didn't work.
Incomplete.
Pass was to Hawkes, and he wasn't in the end zone anyhow there, and wasn't going to go anywhere if he did catch the ball. But once again, Burnett goes to his money man, Jerry Ziff, on that touchdown.
Well, it doesn't hurt at all because the score is still 14-12, and a field goal can still win the ball game. So look at the scoreboard. 6 minutes left to go at San Rafael High School. Shows the Bulldogs 14, the Pirates 12. Be back after this.
You're watching local television for the North Bay, TV 30, Viacom Cablevision.
Marshall.
Okay, Marshall will kick off. And let's see if he kicks onside here. 6 minutes left to go. The Bulldogs have showed that they can maintain ball possession. They can easily eat that 6 minute
Another
clock.
kicker in there, Dennis.
And he did a little better job.
It's taken by Sherman, and he's got some running room. He'll get close to midfield before he's finally dragged out of bounds. Spencer Sherman gets all the way up to the 47-yard line, and that is a big play for the Bulldogs.
Once again, great field position for San Rafael. Drake really can't have much hope in this game unless they hold San Rafael back into the Bulldogs' own territory and gets the ball back quickly.
Critical play, Ted, because they needed to keep the Bulldogs deep in their own part of the field. That way, when they get the ball back, they won't have to march as far down to try to get that winning score. But now they're in big trouble.
And certainly near the 50-yard line, you have every opportunity open for you. From an offensive standpoint, you're not limited in any way in the area of field position.
We've got an injury over on the Drake sideline, Dennis, and I haven't been able to make out the number on the player over there. It appears to be a San Rafael Bulldog.
Oh, I believe it's a Pirate.
You might be right. Yes, it is.
Interesting thing, while he's over there on the sideline, a person commented to me the other day, said, Dennis, you know, when a guy is down near the sideline, they can easily push him out of bounds. Then why don't they just move the player out of bounds and get the game moving? Well, there's obvious reason for that, is that when a player is down and you don't know what the extent of the injury is, you don't move him.
Who was that person? Whoever it was, they weren't very smart.
Is that nurse you've been going out with, Dennis?
Your mom's a nurse? In any case, there does seem to be a little bit of pain over there. There's an injury timeout on the field. Look at the scoreboard now. 5:51 left to go. The Bulldogs lead this one 14-12.
Katie's been dreaming about a new car for a long time. While she saved her money, she read about a dream car. This is Katie's dream car. It's beautiful and fuel efficient. Because it contains almost 500 pounds of aluminum, it weighs only 1,300 pounds total. Katie's dream car is a gas miser, because the lighter the car, the better mileage it gets. This dream car was built by students at Western Washington University, and someday we may all be driving cars like it. Until that day arrives, Katie knows that she can start to save both energy and money right now. Katie's new model car contains over 100 pounds of lightweight aluminum, including the bumper. Katie also plans to keep her engine properly tuned, tires inflated to the proper level, and follow other techniques she knows will save gas. That Katie, she's saving money and energy. It's something we all must do to ensure the future we dream of.
Bulldogs just trying to maintain possession, and if they can win this ball game. Furry is the quarterback. He hands off up the middle. Whitman, goodbye. Well, there you see Todd Whitman and his explosive speed. 63-yard touchdown run for Whitman. And, well, they don't really need to maintain ball possession anymore.
Certainly that run almost writes an epitaph for the Drake Pirates. Great big hole for Todd Whitman there, and he just turns on the afterburner and says, so long, I'm ready to go to the pizza parlor after this game and celebrate the win.
Yeah, no way Dave Marshall was going to catch him there, because after Whitman saw that hole, nobody was going to deny him that 6 points.
Once again, dancing in the streets on the sidelines here. Here's the extra point. We haven't had one yet. We don't got one now.
Loses the ball. Let's see if they get two. It's picked off. But that's it. So once again, we still don't get the extra point. But it's now 20-12 in favor of the Bulldogs. And gentlemen, it looks like that streak will continue for the Bulldogs. Of course, Drake hasn't beat them since '69. It looks like they won't beat them this year either.
Well, they could still possibly tie him, Dennis, with 5:24 left to go. A touchdown and a 2-point conversion would give him a tie. So we'll have to see if Drake can move the ball on San Rafael here within the final 5 minutes of play.
Well, Bruce, is that 1969 statistic accurate? You were telling me before the game that Drake's sewed up a championship here while you played for the Pirates.
No, they had a second-place finish in 1973, but that was their last winning season 10 years ago, up until last year when they had a 4-3 season. San Rafael and Terra Linda have been very strong teams in the Marin County Athletic League, along with San Marin for the last decade.
And that is the history of the MCAL. Bob Muster's got to feel pretty good. It'll be 14 in a row for the Bulldogs.
Well, now that we have a moment here, and after Dennis O'Donnell's last comment, we'd like to remind you that the broadcasters for this event are approved by TV 30 and the Marin County Athletic League. And any rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of the pictures and accounts of this game without the express written consent of our producer, Gary Wasley, is prohibited.
Taking the ball is Hawkes, and he almost needs to go all the way. Finally dragged down at about the 35-yard line.
We've got a little scuffle down there between Hawkes and one of the San Rafael linemen. I believe that's number 72 for San Rafael. That's Wes Stichler, a special teams player for San Rafael.
I can understand the frustration on the part of Hawkes right now. You think you're back in the game, and then wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, you're out of it again.
I like that. First down, 10 yards to go. 5 minutes left to go in the ball game now. Pass is complete, and he might have a little bit of running room himself. Finally dragged out of bounds. That was number 20. Well, I couldn't tell who that was.
That's number 17 for Drake High School.
Kevin Smith. Remember, we lost him on the roster, but we finally pick him up here. So that's exactly what they need. A couple breakers like that. Ball is placed at the 41-yard line where it'll be 1st and 10. Flag, and that'll go. Ball is complete. That's Hoff, and he will go all the way down to the 17, but it'll come back.
I'm pretty sure that that was a infraction on the part of the Drake Pirates there.
They had somebody lined up in the neutral zone, it looked like, because the flags came down as soon as the snap was made, and that's usually the case. So it's a tough break, and certainly one that the Pirates can't afford to make the mistakes at this point in the ball game. Now 4:25 left. They're down by a score of 20-12. Fans getting a little irate in the stands. I remember this coming after the ball games every Friday night.
I'm surprised you have a memory of any of those games on Friday nights, Dennis.
Well, you know, some of us were in the stands and some of us were on the field, right, Ted?
That's right.
Oh, the big man here. That's why you guys are up in the booth now. Careers have gone a long way. Back to pass, looking, now throwing it up there. That was intended for Kevin Smith. Good coverage out there by number 21, Tom Drummer. So now Burnett in a position he would rather not be in. Facing his second down and 15. And basically every down from here on out is going to have to be a pass.
And that's bad news for Craig Burnett because you know that, I know that, the fans know it, and the defensive linemen for San Rafael know it. And look at them. They got 8 guys lined up there, and they're all looking at one man, Craig Burnett. They're coming for him.
Burnett to pass, throws over the middle, incomplete, almost picked off, intended for Smith. Drummer once again was the free safety out there, almost had it. So that'll bring up the 3rd and 15.
Just under 4 minutes left in the game, and the clock is stopped with the incomplete pass.
How much you want to bet he tries to go to Jerry Ziff here?
Ziff is facing double coverage again.
That's a pass under pressure. Look out, gets away as he comes out of the pocket. That's Hawkins out of the backfield, incomplete, and that ball should have been caught. Coverage was by...
At all. He can't throw the ball to himself, and he can't block for himself.
He has been under intensive pressure through the course of the evening. San Rafael's done a very good job of disguising what they're going to do on their rush. They've been sending a combination of linemen and linebackers. We'll take another look at it. There you see there's 5 men over the line of scrimmage on Burnett as he throws the ball downfield. Hawkins got his hands on it, but he just couldn't quite pull it in.
It was a tough catch, but it's one that could have been made, one that almost had to be made because now it's 4th and 15 yards to go.
Over on the, there you see the San Rafael sideline. The coach is taking a look at the situation, and they have to feel pretty good about the team's effort that they've gotten this evening. On the opposite sideline, there you see the Drake Huddle, and offensive coach Ron Price is in there talking to his players. But further on the sideline, that coach Dan Licati pacing up and down the sideline, and I don't think Dan can really be too pleased with the effort he's seen in tonight's game.
Certainly both of his lines, his offensive and his defensive line, have been overmatched throughout the game, and that's really been the key along with the field position. Drake, of course, totally shut down in the first half after getting that initial score.
Take a look at Krieger on the sideline getting his shirt back on after an injury. The Krieger brothers, boy, they've had a good ball game. Okay, this is it. 4th down, 15 yards to go. Burnett drops straight back, throws over the middle. The ball is complete. Kevin Smith, he'll get the first down all the way down to the 25. You talk about clutch, because that was the ball game as far as the Pirates were concerned, and they got it.
Well, I'll tell you, to give Drake a little bit of credit in that area, they have come back a couple of times when they were down to their last down. We'll take a look at it again. They're down to the very last possible down here, and Burnett does a good job of staying in the pocket, gets rid of the ball, fine catch, and good moves for the first down. Good play by Drake on a critical situation. We're down to 3 minutes and 27 seconds now, and they are 8 points down, but they've got the ball, first down, and 10 to go.
Burnett with 3 backs there. Drops straight back, now rolls right, and throws the ball. It's complete. And finally down there at about the 12-yard line, that's number 87, Glenn Richardson. So now he's pulling out all the stops, looking for all the open receivers. That time it was Richardson, and you could see Hoff, you could see Ziff. Ziff, of course, is double covered, so he almost has to go to other ball players. Checking into the ball game, Jeff Mazzette.
San Rafael appears to be blitzing a linebacker in to put some more pressure on Burnett, and of course he's been facing pressure all night, and that's opening up some passes underneath for the Drake Pirates.
2nd down, 2 yards to go. Burnett. Open and incomplete. Intended for Kevin Smith. There was a couple defenders out there.
And let's see if we can get a shot at Burnett. He was hit hard.
Well, you know, Jeff Mazzette checked in, and he is primarily a blocking back, so that, you know, generally tells you that it's going to be a straight drop back and pass downfield. And Craig was under a tremendous amount of pressure from the San Rafael defensive line. Chuck Silvera has checked back into the backfield now for Drake.
2:32 left to go in this football game. 20 to 12. See Bob must do there, rallying his troops. Burnett has the ball knocked away by Tua Tagovailoa. Boy, no doubt about that one.
Tua Tagovailoa, of course, the center for the basketball team, and he blocked that one a la Artis Gilmore. Just like a guard trying to take a shot over him, he says. No way, Jose.
High enough to have a conversation with God, I would think so on that play. It was way up there.
I wonder what he asked him.
Can I please intercept this football, maybe? 2:29 left. Burnett, straight back, throws. He's got his man. Incomplete.
That was a 4th down situation, too, so that means that the San Rafael Bulldogs are going to get the ball back.
Hoff was the intended receiver, and that'll about do it for the Pirates. That one really hurt. They really couldn't come up with a prayer one more time. That really makes Tua Tagovailoa's play on the previous shot very, very big.
Oh, we got a moment here. We'd like to remind you to tune in every other Wednesday night for Sports Trend. It's Marin County's most comprehensive sports program. Dennis O'Donnell and I are there every other week. We'll tell you why some teams are running their way to the top of the MCAL, and you see that San Rafael having some problems there. And we'll tell you why some teams aren't. So tune in every other Wednesday night for Sports Trend on Viacom TV 30. Bruce Barbera gives us his picks for the MCAL. One more reason why Sports Trend set you a world apart.
Ah, yes, the infamous Ted Griggs. You saw a shot at the clock now. It's all academic at this point, unless the Pirates can cause a turnover. There's a timeout on the field now. You know, one of the reasons we certainly like to do this ball game, of course, you remember, gentlemen, the fact that Proposition 13 went into effect a few years ago. Been a lot of cutbacks in high schools, and everybody's in the athletic organizations are having trouble making the ends meet. And we like to think that maybe the publicity that the big corporations are getting, but I mean Coca-Cola, that maybe this is giving them an added attraction and maybe giving them a little publicity so they will continue to support the MCAL.
Certainly, Dennis. We talked about the relative lack of manpower on both of these football teams, not an awful lot of players. And it's kind of interesting that this very San Rafael High School once had one of the most massive athletic departments for a high school in the nation. As a matter of fact, they were mentioned in Sports Illustrated about 10 years ago for having all sorts of electives in the PE department. Students could take sailing, they could take just about any sport that your mind could imagine. Now, of course, massive cutbacks. Coaches are not getting paid that much, and players ultimately suffer. They have to shell out some money of their own to be on the football team.
And that is, as I mentioned, one of the reasons we are doing this telecast, and we certainly hope that you have enjoyed it. 2 minutes left to go in the ball game now. Well, the Pirates are going to get the ball back.
We got a 3rd down and 14, so don't close the book yet.
It is not time to sing yet. Now they will have taken too much time, I believe. Kefir, the signal caller, and yes, he did. That'll set him back a good 5 yards.
I'm sure that he took that penalty purposefully.
No question about it. As you see the Bulldog cheerleaders somewhat ecstatic at this point, I would think. Is homecoming. It's always important to win a homecoming football game.
And there they are waving to our camera. And they wonder what chewing bubble gum for a lifetime does to the brain. There you see.
That one was a live wire, wasn't it? They will get very little out of that play.
Of course, many of these San Rafael students, I'm sure, are looking forward to their homecoming dance. It's probably tomorrow night. We wish them the best. Oh, it's tonight after the football game.
That's tough. I remember they almost did that when I was in high school, and everybody protested, said, no, sir.
So football players will be tired. The cheerleaders will be tired. Not going to be much dancing out on the gym floor tonight.
4th down and 17 yards to go, and there's the next penalty. It'll be too much time, delay of game. .53 seconds left to go, so if we can get a couple more, this game will be history, and we'll be able to get out of here.
Dennis, maybe if you're lucky, you might be able to go to the homecoming dance tonight. I'm sure you'd enjoy that.
Excuse me, Dad?
Might get a celebrity guest pass.
I'd like that. Well, if you haven't guessed it by now, we're struggling a little bit up here as the Bulldogs have run off a couple of delay of game penalties. This is a situation that almost prolongs the agony for the Pirates. There's nothing they can do except hope that they'll get the ball back and, you know, try for a couple of miracle plays right off the bat, and that's exactly what they need.
I'll tell you one thing they could do, and that is they could put 10 men on the line of scrimmage and put a tremendous amount of pressure on the kicker. And, you know, a blocked punt at this point could put them very close to the goal line.
Now they got 10 guys on the line. Hawkins is the lone deep man to receive the punt. Valet gets it off, and Hawkins will have a chance to return it at the 37. Gets down to the 30. And is dragged out of bounds there by number 37, Mark Meinheyer. Meinheyer's played very well on special teams tonight. He's also seen a little activity as running back. And a little bit on defense as well, so he's done a good job. As all the Bulldogs have, just off to that slow start, as we mentioned, but have dominated the game since then.
87, Brian Davis also in on that tackle. We're down to 41 seconds left in the ball game. It's first down for Drake, and they don't have too much time to squander away. They've got to get the ball in the end zone.
I'm sure that Craig Burnett and Dan Loconte called a series of plays on the sideline, so everybody knows exactly what's going to happen. They're not going to waste any time in a huddle. Right now you see the offensive coordinator, Ron Price. He, of course, is a fireman and is off time. We talked to Dan Loconte before the game. He said that the coaches spend about 25 hours a week with these teams, some of them not making any money whatsoever.
Okay, Coach Price has relayed his instructions to the squad as he leaves the field. Now it's all up to the Drake offense.
Burnett brings his troops to the line in desperation. 6'2" quarterback calls the signal, now goes back to pass. Throws out, the ball is caught there and out of bounds. It's caught by number 87, Glenn Richardson. And they will line up as soon as possible. Richardson did get out of bounds.
The clock is stopped until the defense is set on the line of scrimmage. There it's rolling, 33 seconds.
Burnett again looking to throw, and he's got his man out of the backfield. Hawkins could not hold on.
Hawkins has had a tough night in the receiving department. Been open a few times, had a few slip through his hands, had a few just barely out of his reach, like that one was.
27 seconds left to go, and the long night for the Drake Pirates is almost at an end.
I'll tell you one thing, if I could pick any two men to have on my team in this situation, I'd pick Craig Burnett and Jerry Ziff.
That's one thing the Bulldog defensive backs have done a very good job on, is king on Ziff, because he has not been a big factor. Pass is tipped away. Good defensive play out there by number 34. That is Valet. Boy, he made maybe a touchdown saving play on that one.
No question, good play by Valet. You know, it's hard to question, you know, these high school players in a game like this. They haven't had a tremendous amount of experience behind them yet, but there was a situation where Craig threw into very heavy coverage, and if he could have taken the opportunity to look back to the other side of the field, he would have found an open receiver.
Craig also has to worry whether he has the time to look around. San Rafael teeing off.
Hoff is incomplete, intended for Hoff, but it was overthrown. 19 seconds left to go. Coverage out there by Mark Frigger. Well, guys, I guess if you had to pick an MVP for this one, it'd be pretty tough.
A couple candidates on that San Rafael side. One would be Mark Valet, who had a fine game both offensively and defensively. Todd Whitman, also a very fine game. Great job.
Darren Kafuri has done a heck of a job at quarterback as well.
So has Rob Smith, for that matter. Both of those men playing a key role tonight.
How about the whole team?
A team effort.
Team effort for San Rafael tonight.
19 seconds. Burnett to pass. This time Hawk is open. He dropped the ball. Krieger again on the coverage, but that time he got lucky because that ball was in and out of the hands of Hawk. And he's a little bit upset. You see him shake his head there. 14 seconds left to go as the crowd piles out.
I guess that's a fitting way to cap this game. It really has been a game for Drake when they've been very close. They could have won this game, save for a few minor adjustments, a few balls that maybe should have been caught, a few balls that maybe could have been caught.
Well, this will be the last play of the game, and we get a flag down. It looks like somebody jumped a little bit too early for the Pirates.
Well, the San Rafael dominance continues over Drake High School. Once again, they are unable to defeat the Bulldogs, so that record will remain intact. Since 1969, Drake has not been able to tie or defeat San Rafael High School.
Yeah, it will be offsides on the Pirates. Kafuri obviously just wants to run the clock out.
Since 1969, that's a long time. If you think back, Richard Nixon was in his first year of the presidency in 1969.
We don't want to think about that, Ted.
I believe Willie McCovey won the MVP that year. No, or was that 68? No, I believe it was 68.
I'm not sure of that.
You're close. In any event, San Rafael is going to now become 2-0 and leaders in the Marin County Athletic League.
Look out for a couple teams in this division. San Marin, obviously.
Certainly Marin Catholic.
Marin Catholic is another powerhouse. We talked about them on Sports Center. That'll do it. That's the ball game. So from the opening kickoff, it looked like the Pirates might have a chance to end the dominance of the Bulldogs over 13 long years, but that was not to be the case, as the Bulldogs came back and won this ball game by a score of 22-6. Oh, I'm sorry, I got that wrong.
20-12.
20-12. We'll be back with some post-game comments and a look at what happened in tonight's game right after this.
I bet you think this is a plain old apple. Well, it isn't. This is a special apple. It's 25,000 miles around, 8,000 miles deep, and 4 billion people work, sleep, and play on it every day. In fact, this apple is so special it has a name, Planet Earth. Now, Planet Earth is our home, and the only home we've got. If we let it get too polluted, we could be in big trouble. Now, how much of the earth do you think grows all our food? What would you guess? A half? A third? A tenth? Well, first, 3/4 of the earth is covered by water. So let's take a big chunk off of that. And let's take another piece off for the deserts and the mountaintops, the North Pole, the South Pole. Oh, and let's not forget our cities, suburbs, and highways, and all the other things that we people build. Believe it or not, folks, this is it. This is where we live. This little bit of earth feeds our cows and chickens, grows our fruit and vegetables. Everything we need to live is right here. Now, I don't know about you, but I think our land is precious. And unless we really take care of it, someday we might find it just isn't there.
This has been a public service of the National Audubon Society, its local chapters, and this station.
Well, that's going to just about wrap it up from San Rafael High School tonight, Dennis. The Bulldogs played a very fine ball game. They were well prepared for Drake. Drake looked like they were almost a little bit lost out there on the field, except for that opening play.
I think, Bruce, that Ted hit it on the button a little while ago, and that is that if certain things had been done, if a couple catches would have been made and a couple penalties were not committed, then the score could have been different on the board. And certainly Drake has got a little bit to be disappointed about, and I think they're going to have a tough week of practice ahead.
Certainly a few keys in this game for San Rafael. Number one, the special teams. They totally outclassed Drake in that area of play. San Rafael always got the ball in a good field position. They always had an opportunity to move the ball. A second point has to be the play of the offensive and defensive line. They're a little bigger than Drake, and Craig Cornett was facing pressure all night long. Although Jerry Zeif was double covered, he did break a few times, but all in all, he was really shut down despite his 2 touchdowns.
Okay, let's tell you who put on this fine telecast for you tonight. The producer, Gary Wasley, and also our director. Our technical director is Diane Preston. Cameras are Mark Grebo, Pamela Del Villar, Robert Bowery, and Howard Hoswell. Camera assistants, Susan Clifford and Doug Lee. Our audio was courtesy of Greg Peterson, and audio assist, Tracy Ruiz. Instant replay is operated by Scott Wasley. Operations supervisor, George Lee. And the executive producer for TV 30 Sports is Pamela Del Villar.
Once again, the final score tonight, the San Rafael Bulldogs 20 and the Pirates from Drake High School 12. The Bulldogs are now 2-0 atop of the MCAL. The Pirates are 0-2. Very fitting pictures we see on the screen for a homecoming win for the San Rafael Bulldogs. Don't forget, everybody, to tune in next week for another Viacom 30 Game of the Week. Now for Bruce Barbera, Ted Griggs on our